Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into India's National Report on Biodiversity 2026. Submitted on February 26, 2026, this isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill document. It's a massive, incredibly detailed assessment submitted directly to the Convention on Biological Diversity. Specifically, this is India's 7th national report, and it comprehensively evaluates the country's progress against 23 national biodiversity targets. If you really want to understand what's happening on the front lines of global conservation right now, you are absolutely in the right place.
Here's what's on the agenda for us today. 1. Aligning with global biodiversity. 2. India's incredible ecological wealth. 3. Expanding protected area networks. 4. Securing India's iconic species. 5. Grassroots governance and technology. And 6. Future challenges and goals. Okay, let's get right into it.
Section 1. Aligning with global biodiversity. Global goals, national actions. So the foundation of all of this is the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, or KMGBF. It's a beautifully complex and integrated framework. You see, India has taken its updated national biodiversity strategy and aligned it directly with this global structure. The core mission here is to halt and completely reverse biodiversity loss by 2030, with an ultimate, incredibly ambitious vision of living in perfect harmony with nature by the year 2050. That is a massive global mandate.
Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually measure success on something so vast? Well, you do it with exactly 142 national indicators. To accurately track their progress across those 23 targets we mentioned, India uses a really robust, data-driven framework. These 142 indicators cover literally everything, from tracking the health of terrestrial landscapes and inland waters all the way out to coastal and marine ecosystems. It basically ensures that conservation isn't just a guessing game, it's a hard science.
Section 2. India's incredible ecological wealth, a mega-diverse nation.
Think about this scale for a second. India accounts for a mere 2.4% of the world's land area. Geographically speaking, it's a pretty small slice of the pie. Yet within that tiny physical footprint, it anchors an astonishing 7 to 8% of all global biodiversity. That staggering concentration of life makes India one of only 17 recognized mega-diverse countries on the entire planet. No way around it. That's incredibly dense.
Looking at the actual numbers, this tiny landmass is literally bursting at the seams with life. It is officially home to over 56,000 known plant species and a massive 100,651 animal species. And the crazy thing is, these numbers are constantly ticking upward. Botanists and zoologists are out there doing new field surveys and using cutting-edge metagenomic approaches to identify even more microbial and fungal life as we speak.
Section 3. Expanding Protected Area Networks, the 30 by 30 frontier.
To safeguard all that incredible ecological wealth, there has been a 52% surge in protected areas in just 11 years. Back in 2014, India had 745 protected areas. Fast forward to 2025, and that number has skyrocketed to 1,134. This rapid, sustained growth is absolutely crucial because it establishes a backbone for India to meet the global 30 by 30 conservation commitment. You know, the international goal to protect 30% of the Earth's land and oceans by 2030.
But here's the really interesting part. This growth isn't just the government building fences around forests. It represents a major, systemic shift toward community-centered conservation, completely changing how habitat protection is actually distributed on the ground.
When we break down this network, it's incredibly diverse. Yes, you've got the traditional 106 national parks and 574 wildlife sanctuaries. But look at community reserves. They've expanded from just 48 in 2014 to an impressive 309 today. This embeds community governance right at the heart of habitat management. Oh, and alongside this, India now boasts 98 Ramsar wetland sites. That is the largest network in Asia and the third largest in the entire world.
Section 4. Securing India's iconic species, tigers, elephants, and innovation. Now, top predators and large herbivores are basically your ultimate proxy indicators for ecosystem health, and in India, they are thriving. Project Tiger, which kicked off way back in 1973, has helped the wild tiger population rebound to an estimated 3,682 individuals. Meanwhile, Project Elephant is safeguarding over 22,000 wild elephants. The 2026 report also points out the first-ever scientific census of snow leopards, counting 718 individuals, and highlights the world's very first intercontinental large carnivore translocation with Project Cheetah.
The crucial takeaway here is the sheer weight of responsibility.
Because India hosts over 75% of the world's wild tigers and 60% of the global Asian elephant population, the country bears the primary global responsibility for the survival of these iconic species. It's a monumental duty, but the data proves it's a duty they are successfully fulfilling.
But securing these species in densely populated areas, that requires some serious innovation. They aren't just relying on traditional patrols. Actually, scratch that. They are deploying some incredibly cutting-edge tech. We're talking about a digital platform called M-Stripes for evidence-based reserve management, AI for species identification, and, my personal favorite, distributed acoustic sensors on railway tracks. This AI-enabled system detects elephant movements by listening to acoustic signatures near the tracks, and then it sends real-time alerts to train drivers to prevent fatal collisions. How cool is that?
Section 5. Grassroots Governance and Technology, a whole-of-society approach.
Okay, so India manages this massive undertaking through a really unique three-tier governance system under the Biological Diversity Act. You've got the national level authority, you've got state biodiversity boards, and most critically, you have the grassroots level. As of this report, an incredible 276,653 local biodiversity management committees have been set up. And those local committees? They've put together over 272,000 people's biodiversity registers, meticulously documenting traditional ecological knowledge right at the village level. It's a true whole-of-society effort.
A real cornerstone of this local empowerment is ABS, or Access and Benefit Sharing. Think of it like this. It's an international framework that makes sure if commercial benefits are derived from local genetic resources or traditional knowledge, those benefits are shared fairly with the communities who actually put in the work to conserve them. India stands out as a recognized global leader in making this work under the Nagoya Protocol.
And this isn't just some nice-sounding theory. It's happening in practice right now. Over 3,873 ABS agreements have been executed to date. This channels significant, highly tangible financial resources directly back into the hands of local and indigenous communities. It essentially incentivizes long-term conservation by directly rewarding the people living alongside nature.
Section 6. Future Challenges and Goals. The Way Forward.
Look, despite these monumental successes, the 2026 report objectively outlines its vulnerabilities. Mobilizing enough financial resources to maintain this sprawling network is just a constant struggle. On top of that, there are technological constraints when you're trying to monitor such vast, rugged landscapes. And overarching the whole shebang is the compounding, unpredictable impact of climate change, shifting habitats and threatening those vulnerable ecosystems that we urgently need to restore to hit that 30% goal.
So, what's the immediate way forward? It relies on blending that rich traditional knowledge with new green finance mechanisms. Priorities include continuing to expand conservation areas, particularly by institutionalizing OECMs, that's Other Effective Area-Based Conservation Measures, to count privately and community-owned lands toward the 30 by 30 target. They're also leaning heavily into new finance mechanisms like tapping into corporate social responsibility or CSR funding to finally bridge those critical financial gaps. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. How can megadiverse, rapidly developing nations like India perfectly balance the need for explosive economic growth with the urgent global mandate to restore 30% of their degraded ecosystems? It is the delicate, high-stakes balancing act of modern conservation, and the choices being made today will absolutely echo for generations. Thanks for exploring the 2026 Biodiversity Report with me, and keep questioning how we can build a world that truly lives in harmony with nature.